Hey, welcome back to B-Dubs Gaming. This is Brandon, aka Steady Freak, with my son Striker. Say hi.
Hi.
What are we playing today, Striker?
What?
What is this? Survivalcraft.
Survivalcraft 2.
Oh, that's right, Survivalcraft 2. Alright, well, this is going to be a quick video. We wanted to show you a little bit of work that we've been doing. Yeah, we're going to go into our creative mode here, and I wanted to show a couple things about an elevator. I think I showed you once before in my other video, one of my other videos, that we created a small little elevator and some lights and some other electrics up here in this glorious house, and that's the structure that we're going to go into in just a second. But I'm going to go downstairs. This is the elevator switch that we have in the house. We're bouncing down, and it's just a we'll just call it a two-person single shaft up elevator. So we're gonna run over here though.
Close it, Daddy.
Oh, you want me to close the door? Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
And you need to get money.
All right, money. I don't know what you're talking about when it comes to money on survival.
But you could buy a diamond sword.
All right, yeah. You don't need money to buy a diamond diamond sword in creative mode, and you don't need money to do it anyway. You just need materials.
Yeah.
Silly. All right, so what I've got here is an elevator.
We're just pretending.
Okay. So we've got an elevator here. And of course, the time before, I built just the maximum that a piston goes up is 8 spaces. So this elevator that I built over here goes up as high as it can. So what I did is I started messing around with a couple different things trying to get this elevator to go up higher. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure it out. So I had to actually go online and research a little bit about the push-pull piston, which we'll go over here and I'll show you that. Oops, past it. Electronics. So this is a piston. This is a pulling piston, which I'm assuming that piston will just pull things back. This here is a strict pulling piston. So I tried the strict pulling piston, and what we have as a result is I still built this as a 2-shaft, and I have my elevator. It goes up and continues. It does hesitate. We can pretend that these are stories, floor, but each set of 8 that it goes up, it does hesitate, but it works all the way up to my lovely observatory or observation deck or whatever.
Daddy, jump on your house.
Yeah, I could jump on the house from here if I wanted to.
Daddy.
That over there is a cannon I was playing with that it didn't really turn out all that great, but it was fun playing with it.
But you could.
Anyway, what we've got here is a rhino down there, and we've got our observation deck. And then, of course, if we wanted to see the elevator go down, it goes down. All right? And then if we wanted to beat the elevator, then, of course, we platform dive and see if we can hit the water. We can't. Anyway, so here we are. I'm wet, and how we accomplish this is over here. I built the structure. Here's the back of the wiring. So we've got the green wire goes all the way up to the switch up top. We've got the not and or that basically tells the switch down here, which is the blue wire. It doesn't matter what position. There's not an off and an on. It's currently off and currently on is basically what that means. So when you flip the switch up top, the elevator goes down or up, depending on if you're up there and the elevator's down, or if the elevator's up there and you're up, it'll go down. So that's how that works. Same thing with this one. So it's kind of like a 3-way switch at home. And so this down here, the wiring, and the wiring all the way up, each white section up here connects to the pistons that make the extension for the elevator. So we're going to go down this, if I can figure out how to do this. Ladders are not my thing. So we've got light switch, might as well electrics, got some lights. This is the underground, we'll call it the maintenance hatch. All right, so we got the wire coming up there, and we've got 2 through pieces here. And you'll notice that we have a stack of pistons here. Now, these are all push-pull. So if I check it out, your max extension. I have them all set to 8. Okay. And there's one more up top in this stack, which is just a standard piston. But these are all push-pull. These 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, how the push-pull work took me a while to figure out, but well, not a while, but it took me a little bit to figure out because I wasn't quite sure. They're basically called it, some call them sticky pistons, but otherwise it's a piston. It's a piston that extends, and then it will also pull the block back when it retracts. And you have to tell it how many blocks to pull back. Otherwise, it'll just come back on its own without pulling any blocks. And that's the problem I was having with a standard piston. I could get it to go up, but then when it came down, it would leave everything that it lifted up in the air. And that's not what I wanted. So anyway, the very bottom one, I've got extending to 8, and pull count is 4 blocks. And I got it set to very slow. And that 4 blocks simply means that it's going to pull back when it comes back down the next 4 blocks above it. All right, so this piston will grab 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th one up top. So I set that one to 4. This one here, set to 3. This one set to 2. This one is default setting to 1 block. And what that does is it pulls the block that are above it. So in the end result, you have a giant piston that continuously goes up, and the staggers that you see up top as you're going up the elevator, and you can build floors if you wanted to, and you quickly jump off the elevator, but the idea is that those floors, that's each elevator or each piston pausing to connect to its electrical source. So what I've got over here now, obviously that's just 2. It'll work with 1, 2, 4, 6. I don't know if it'll work with many more. Well, probably as wide as you want it, because you can get all the way around it. I don't know if it'll work on a 4x4, because how would you'd have to do some fancy wiring to get yeah. That's about, you could probably go wide, so you can go 6 or you can go 8 wide, or and keep going really wide if you wanted a super wide elevator, but or deep depending on which direction you're entering. But I wouldn't recommend trying anything else because the wiring would be really tricky. But what I've got here is I've got pistons here, and I've only got them set to 1, and I've got the switch, and I've got the wiring in the front to connect to the front 3, the wiring in the back to connect the back 3. On this one, the back 2, front 2.
And a rhino.
And a rhino wants to ride. Let's give him a ride. He wants a ride. Give him a ride. All right, flip that thing up there so you can see how it works. The sticky piston.
Saying yes.
It's gonna get another storm. Sticky piston, which is this push-pull, will extend and lift the other pistons up high. And then what we've got is, this is a standard piston. You'd have to put you'd have to put wiring like this. Let me do this here. Either the front or the back.
Yeah.
You've got like this, and you could do this here and do a normal block here. And so then you take your wire and you've connected this one and this one together, and then you've connected this one and this one together. Actually, that's not going to work because I'm being goofy. You're basically going to want it even on both sides. So if you're going to go that side, go that side. So you've got this one and this one connected, and you've got this one and this one connected. I'm going to get rid of that right there. And then you would have standard stuff like this in the back, and then you would connect all of these pieces here together. And then if you wanted them to actually work, you would have yourself, let's get rid of that. All right, so now you've got to connect all of those up there to the switch that you just did. So you basically, well, actually, this is a single pull. I'm not putting in the extra pieces here. So you'll see the other piece go up. So now when you're up, you're going to flip the switch. You'll see it come down and come down. And that's kind of how that works. You flip the switch. It brings the first set up. There's your pause while it moves up to the second. Looks like my tower is so high it gets struck by lightning. Anyway, that's how the piston pieces work. It's the same for any style that you do. Same idea. Now, to get the three-way switch, you've got to put this and/or switch in here. So then you have the switch separate. You've got your power feed, and that's what connects all this stuff. Now, I've seen a couple different ways to route power. You can't cross wires, even though they're different colors. I was thinking that they would have coded in intelligent wiring. Since you have different colors, why can't two different colors cross each other? So if you'd have something like this, but you can't place a wire there. It doesn't allow it. So to get over wires, what I've seen people do is they build something like this. They'll blast that one away, and then they'll blast that away. Sorry. And then they'll put another block here. They'll get rid of that one that's inside there. And then, sorry for the lack of, oops, sorry. Coloring helps when it comes to these. It doesn't want to, I guess that's something I haven't really paid much attention to. Let me get out of this lighting. So I need a blue wire to connect to blue wire. Otherwise it just doesn't work. So that's how you keep wiring from not touching other wiring going by these things. So what they would do is they would move the wiring around like this, and that's how you get away with connecting. Okay, and then I guess I have to do blue here and to finish this circuit out. All right, now it still works. I mean, obviously, the wire will come, and you wouldn't have this section. You would have a piece underneath there, and I'm just not digging down far enough to get that. But that's how you would go over another wire. Me, I think it's simple enough if you're going to go through like that. Now, granted, if this was a long run that went this way, that's kind of how you'd have to do it. You wouldn't want to make this wire really long just to go around it and then come all the way back and up. This is how you kind of have to do it. They don't really have a... I mean, obviously, it doesn't have to be this. You could get a little more technical. You could put, let's see, a standard block here, and then you'd put up and down. Let's see if we can get it there, up and down. So then bust that out, put my blue wire there. That will complete the switch, and then this white wire will do that right there, and then that right there. And see, there you go. So your wire comes out, and then you could still kind of, I suppose you could hide the wiring if you wanted to hide all this wiring. You'd do certain things like that. So you get rid of this here, there. And that completes the circuit, and so it still will work. Flip, oops, that's interesting. Let's do this, there we go. It's a long way to see if it's working, huh? Okay, it is working. So you can see it coming through. Pieces are slowly, but you see all of the different pieces. I've got that many pieces coming down, and then there. Now I've seen people do similar builds like this online. They don't. I don't know. I like going underground and hiding it so it looks like a normal elevator. I mean, that's how real elevators are actually built. They build all the other stuff underneath, and you enter from the ground floor. Now, granted, I even put one step up. You don't have to do that. You could have just made this ground level. I put a step there just because. Anyway, that's the elevators. That's how they work. You can extend make them taller than this, because it looks like the stickies will go. Let's come down here. This push pull, it'll pull 8 blocks. So technically, you could put 8 of these on top of it. No, that actually needs to be 3 or 2, right? 1, 2. No, that one needs to be 3. So you can have 8 blocks stacked on top of that very bottom one. So you're looking at that's a lot of blocks high. I don't know how much higher you can go. Oop, I hit my glass. I guess you can fly up quite a bit. So you're almost getting double. So I suppose in essence you could build a house or something close up to this high. I don't know how cool that would be with the storm system that they have here in Survivalcraft, but yeah, you could potentially build something extremely high up in the air and access it with an elevator. So that's what I have for that. Happy electronics. Keep going, building things new if you want. Let me know if you like what you see. Give me a like if you want to hear anything more. See what else I can create with this stuff. Appreciate you stopping by. Thanks.